All right, cool. Good to see all of you today at the MagicSchool booth. Have you guys heard of MagicSchool before? Yes. Of course you have. I got to ask though, real quick, how many of you have at least one pin? Have gotten at least one pin? How many of you have at least 3 pins? How many of you are so close to getting a jacket you can taste it? Yes. That is such a clever idea, I think, and it's a pretty cool thing to be able to take home with you. So, well, my name is Matt Miller. I'm a high school Spanish teacher. I also wrote a book and a blog and an email newsletter called Ditch That Textbook. Have any of you guys heard of that before? Yes, you're my kind of people. So I am also a user of MagicSchool, and I love, I'm like everybody else. I've got a handful of my favorites. And so in my little quick demo today, I want to share with you some of those. So this is 10 ways to make learning relevant with MagicSchool. This is like, so let's just dive right into it. Is this statement true or is this statement true? It is harder than ever to keep students' attention. I teach high school Spanish 3. I've got juniors. And I tell you what, a lot of those days, it's like I'm doing good if I just have the glazed over eyes. Because some days I don't even get that, and it's tough. But if we understand our students, we know where they're coming from, and we know what they're into, sometimes you can pull that into learning and you can make it a little more interesting, am I right? Yeah, so that all has to do with building those relationships with students, and the more you learn about them, the more you can pull those things in. But it can be tricky to know exactly what to say. Especially when sometimes students come into your class and it's important stuff that they need to learn, but they're like, why do I need to learn this? Raise your hand if you have heard the phrase, how am I ever going to use this in my life? Okay, and if you haven't, well, you probably will sometime soon or at some point, right? And so sometimes it's hard for us to make those connections. Now, before, say, like 3-ish years ago, before the generative AI storm came onto the scene, it was hard. And you kind of had to be creative to be good at it, right? It's like you had to have a little bit of that creative edge. Well, now you don't have to do it all yourself. You can get ideas. And let me just ask you, how many of you have used Raina or MagicSchool to get some of those ideas, right? It's like, right? It's like a breath of fresh air. It's kind of like I don't have to try to rack my brain and do this all by myself anymore. And so you get a little bit of an idea, and if you get that idea and you run with it, it can be pretty magical, right? I had to, sorry. Yeah. So anyway, obviously it doesn't have to be that way because now we have some support. So here's what I got for you today. 10 ways to make learning relevant with MagicSchool. And as you see right over there on the right, this is all packaged up into a little ebook. Now, if you get out your phone right now and you scan this QR code, it's going to take you to that ebook that you can hang on to if you want to. P.S. If you get this, can I move that? Oh, look at that. If you get this link right here, ditch.link/magictcea, that is the text link that you can use to get a hold of this ebook. If you know somebody who might like to have this, please send them that link. Or please take a picture of this slide or send them the QR code or whatever. Like, this isn't super secret stuff for only the select few that got to be here. Let's get it out to anybody. But this is the kind of stuff that's going to help you connect learning to your students' lives. And I want to show you how you can do it with MagicSchool because really they make it really easy. So let's start with this one. Do you have any Swifties in your classes? Would any of you consider yourself a Swiftie? How many of you are like, I really don't know, but I know that people are really excited about it? That's really me, if I'm being honest. But I've seen so many really good English teachers and social studies teachers and others make connections to Taylor Swift stuff to engage their students. Have any of you seen this too? Okay, if you haven't, can you imagine that this would be a pretty cool thing? Especially if you have some of those kids that are into Taylor Swift in your class. So let's imagine that you are an ELA teacher, that you're teaching students about, learning about English composition, about literary devices and all of that stuff. It is all over Taylor Swift's lyrics. For those of you that are Swifties, am I right? Like it's pretty deep stuff, her lyrics. And so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hop over to Magic School and we're gonna turn Taylor Swift lyrics into an assignment. And we're gonna use the text analysis assignment. So we're gonna pop over here to Magic School. We're gonna search for text analysis assignment to make it super easy. All right, so we're going to go to Taylor Swift. Let's pick Cruel Summer. I hear that's a song that she sings. Can anybody confirm that? Yes? Okay, very good. All right, so we're going to look at this text analysis assignment. Let's say that we've got 11th graders. Insert the text you want to generate about the analysis assignment. We're going to come over here and we're going to just highlight Cruel Summer, Taylor Swift. We're going to scroll down. This is one of the things that I love about Magic School is that it can be really just this easy. And so we're going to have it take a look at this, and now it's got a writing prompt. Analyze how the speaker's conflicting emotions about a summer romance are developed through imagery, dictation, and tone in Taylor Swift's Cruel Summer. So immediately, right like that, it's taken these lyrics and it's turned it into a suggested writing prompt with an example and some questions. So we've got sensory imagery and its double meaning, diction, establishing conflict. I don't teach English language arts, but this looks like it's good stuff, right? And that's one of the things that I love about it. And then of course, if you want to go further, I love that it's got all of these little suggestions down here too, right? So if you need a rubric, it can help you create a rubric. Would you raise your hand if you like creating rubrics? You're like the one. I ask that question on a pretty regular basis and nobody raises their hand, but fist bump for making good rubrics. We've got to respect it, right? All right. If you don't really love creating rubrics, this can obviously help you, right? So there's one right there where, even if it's not Taylor Swift, like, can somebody just shout out real quick, like, what's a band or what's a singer that kids are into these days? Kendrick Lamar. Oh yeah, Kendrick Lamar for sure, right? You just got to kind of watch which lyrics you use. But like that would totally. But like with any of this stuff, right? You can turn it into something that connects with your content, and that's one of the things that I love about this. Let's go to the next one. Do any of you have gamers in your classes? Yes. Or would any of you consider yourselves gamers? Used to be. Okay, all right. All right, I am, but I'm not like the Fortnite person. That's my son. My son is a sophomore in high school. It was funny, at one point he was trying to explain to me that Fortnite's not cool anymore. And then he was playing online with his friends. I'm like, Joel, come on, like this is not lining up. So anyway, what if you want to tap into that and you realize that you do have gamers and you want to turn it into a writing task, but you're like, I don't know how I would fit Fortnite into a writing task. Let's go to the Make It Relevant tool. So the Make It Relevant tool, this is one of my favorite ones where you can like connect what you're learning to something that students are into like immediately. So we're gonna go to Make It Relevant. Let's say we're still on 11th grade. What are we teaching about? Can someone just blurt out something that you're teaching? Or that you could? Aha, Industrial Revolution, okay. The Industrial Revolution, describe your students love to play Fortnite on Xbox and PlayStation. Let's just stick to those two things and see what we come up with. See, one of the beauties, I think, of Magic School is that you can give it very, very little and it'll give you something to start with. But the more detailed you are in your prompt, the more narrowed in it is. So if you just want something broad and you're like, just give me something I can work with and that's my starting point, you can do something like this. But if you want to be more specific about, I want something from this specific part of Fortnite and this specific part of the Industrial Revolution, you narrow it down in your prompt, right? Let's see what it gave me. Make 11th grade lessons on the Industrial Revolution relevant who are average Fortnite players on Xbox and PlayStation. So we've got some suggestions. Build a server, how Industrial Revolution changed work speed and connectivity. Even if that one isn't like your thing, of course you can always go down and you can ask for more activities. You can always ask for something else. But if we dive down into this, we see, quick intro, short class discussion, linking gaming servers. We've got an assessment link. We go into this skin economics, like the cosmetic skins of games and the in-game economies. That's actually kind of an interesting thing. Like you collect XP or you collect points or whatever, and you're like using it as an economy inside of your class, right? So anyway, you make some connections there and it's pretty good. Minecraft math adventures. If you're looking for math story problems, you pull something like that in and it totally works, right? I want to take you to this next one because I think this is super interesting. This one is a soccer statistics project. So let me ask you, how many of you have kids that are into some sort of professional sports? Nod your head if you know what I'm talking about. Amber, I think, lives with him. Am I right? Yes, exactly. My son is into mostly NFL and the NBA. We're from Indiana. We've got lots of basketball, right? Like he's a big basketball guy. And so if you've got kids that are into that kind of thing, data table analysis, that with a lot of these professional sports leagues, there are tons and tons of data, tons of statistics, right? And you could turn it into a lesson, but if you're looking at it and you're going, I don't know what I would do. I don't know how I would do it. The great thing is that we can hop over here to the data table. So we're going to switch over here to the data table analysis. We're going to open this up. I'm going to go over to, let's say, the Champions League player stats. So if you're not familiar, since we did connect this to soccer, Champions League is like a big deal in soccer, right? Any of you soccer people that know what I'm talking about? Yes? Okay, you're the only one, Meredith. Everybody else just stared blankly at me. Anyway, you're just going to have to take my word for it. But if we get into these player stats, check this out. We got minutes played, matches. Let's sort by goals. So we sort by goals. Of course, Mbappe's up at the top. Yes, exactly. So what we can do a lot of times, this particular one isn't totally working. But let's try a different, stick with me for 2 seconds, because what I was trying to do was I was trying to like drag and highlight all of these statistics, and it's obviously not working. Let's see, let's go to Champions League player stats. I'm gonna pull up a different one real quick. Let's go to ESPN, this should work. This is the thing that blows me away about this. Remember how we said just a second ago that this was a data table, right? All you've got to do, so let's go off of this. We've got our top scorers. We've got like an interesting combination. Notice that all I did was I just highlighted all of this text for the top scorers and the top assists, right? I'm going to come back over to the data table. I'm just going to paste it in, and we're going to generate. And we're going to see what it comes up with. Now check this out. What did it just do? It took my messy copy paste and it turned it into a table, right? And so now you're seeing all of it pull in, it's formatting it. So really you don't have to do anything fancy. All you've got to do is just highlight and copy the data and stick it in, and you're set. So once it's done pulling all of this data in, it's going to give us some suggestions of what we can do with it. So this is one of the things that I love about this is, let's imagine it was like 5 minutes before class and you're going, what I've got, have you ever had one of those moments where you go, what I've got for class, I could do something way better. And you get this little moment of inspiration. You're like, sports stats. Why didn't I think of that? But if you've only got 5 minutes, then all you do is you just pull all this stuff in. And so now, how can I incorporate this data into a lesson plan? Here we go. We're starting to get ideas, boom, immediately. And so you can start to pull that in a hurry. Okay, a couple more real quick and then we're going to be done. Have any of you heard of this thing called TikTok? Have any of your students ever used it before? Never, exactly. Definitely not in class. Yeah, that's right. So What if instead of having students retell, like a historical event in a boring old one paragraph retell, what if we have them write a skit? Well, not a skit, but like a TikTok video script. We do something like that. So we pull in, again, we're pulling in that make it relevant. We tell them what we're studying. We say what our students are into. Check this out. We'll go back to make it relevant. What are we teaching? Let's say we're teaching about the Franco-Prussian War. Describe your student. Oh, there it was. Look, it's already on the screen. Love TikTok. Make this into a TikTok script for a viral video. Hit generate. Oh, which state or district's social studies should I align it to? Let's do Common Core. Oh, Texas, what am I doing? Okay. I totally, yeah. All right, let's see if we can pull it in. Texas. 2 exclamation points. Here we go. So now we're turning, look at this, me more with a Franco-Prussian glow up. So now we've turned that into a script pretty quickly, right? So anyway, to wrap this up real quick, you got a handful of other ones. If you were here earlier, you got a link to that ebook. And if you weren't here earlier, there's the link right there. Snap a picture of it if you didn't get it. And you can hang on to this stuff when you get back. But this is one of my favorite things to do with Magic School, is we figure out what it is that students love. We use Magic School to get ideas to pull those things that students love into learning. And all of a sudden, class is a little bit more relevant and a little bit more interesting for their students who are so hard to get their attention these days, right? I wanted to show you this real quick. If you don't get my email newsletter, which has practical teaching ideas just like this on a regular basis, scan that QR code right there. It'll sign you up for the Ditch That Textbook email newsletter, where I'm sharing all sorts of ideas about how to use EdTech and things like Magic School in the classroom on a regular basis. Good enough? Did you guys get some ideas that you didn't have before? All right, that's what I got for you. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your conference, and thanks so much for hanging out.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.